Ladies and gentlemen, how we doing? Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen. How we doing tonight? Welcome on in. I am Percussive173, and I appreciate everybody being here. It is a pleasure to have you all. I am so extremely excited for tonight. We have some incredible things in store, and oh yeah, I've been planning this podcast for a while, and I'm very, very excited to have you all here. And there's some really cool things going on tonight as well, and I am very, very, very blessed to have some of the people that I have here on this podcast, and I'm really excited to have them be able to share their stories and also be able to help educate you guys on how to become really amazing content creators, and talk about what it's like being a content creator from a female perspective, and something that I personally will never be able to understand. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, welcome in, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything situated and set up. I've actually turned off all alerts, so hopefully I don't hear them, but okay, I still hear them. But W Steffi, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the 5-bomb. I'm supposed to be doing a workout, but I will do that after the podcast. So for every 5 gift that I get, I normally do a workout. So we're gonna be doing that after the podcast, especially because of the style of pants that I'm wearing. I'm totally joking. But love you all. Welcome on in. We're gonna go ahead and get this podcast started. All right. So I hope you guys are ready. Let's roll it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on in to the PSP podcast, featuring your friendly host, Percussive173. Let's freaking go! I downed him! Oh, I got it! 508 meters! I'm pushing everything right now. He gets to Lockman. Dude, this Lockman is so good! Oh my god, I'm disgusting! So what do you think about that play, huh? What were your thoughts?
Not very smart, man. Not very smart, man.
It happens, man. Hey, well, come back. We'll try it again, okay?
Very smart, man.
It happens. Shit. I guess I'm just gonna shit on him. He's dead. Did I just ace? I just ace. Let's go.
Just take a funky jazz with him.
Easy triple. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to have you be a part of the PSP podcast. And I'm your friendly host, Percussive173, and let's have a freaking party. Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen, to the PSP podcast. I'm your friendly host, Percussive173, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the PSP podcast. So the PSP podcast is, PSP stands for Perk Spreads Positivity. And it's all about sharing all the good vibes possible and spreading positivity in any way that I know how. On this podcast, my aim is to help educate people on how to thrive as content creators. To achieve that, I'm bringing in the best of the best. And I want to showcase diverse styles of content creation that can inspire others to incorporate that style of content into their own. So during this Women's History Month, I am immensely honored to celebrate the outstanding contributions of some incredibly talented female creators who have made an incredible impact on the streaming community. Their creativity, their resilience, their innovation, and has been astounding in the content creation space. And I am going to let this video introduce them to you in honor of Women's History Month. Let's roll it. It's Women's History Month 2024, a time to celebrate the incredible achievements, contributions, and resilience among women throughout history. From the suffragettes who fought for the right to vote to the trailblazers of today, women have been at the forefront of progress, shaping the world we live in. From artists to activists to scientists to entrepreneurs, women from all walks of life have made their mark on history. Their voices, their stories, and their achievements inspire us to dream bigger, to reach higher, and to break down barriers while fighting the patriarchal norms that we currently live in today. Among these women are Steffi Evans, an empowering content creator who fearlessly challenges the fragile male egos within Call of Duty and rightfully puts them in their place. Miss Savage AF, with her infectious personality, empowering content, and incredible looks, inspire women from all over to continue in the content industry. And Positive, spreading positivity in all walks of life. A former streamer turned into head of marketing, all while keeping her infectious positivity. All these creators inspire other women to create and empower each other to grow within the content creation industry the right way. From overcoming challenges to breaking down barriers, women like Steffi Evans, Miss Savage AF, and Positive have been leading the charge, inspiring others to embrace their power, pursue their passions, and create their own paths to success. So as we celebrate Women's History Month, let us honor the past and celebrate the present and pave the way for the future where every woman and girl can thrive, succeed, and fulfill her potential. So we would like to welcome Miss Savage AF, Steffi Evans, and Positive to the PSP podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the PSP podcast. Like I said, I'm your friendly host, Percussive173, and it is my pleasure to introduce Steffi Evans, Positive, and Miss Savage to you all. How are you guys doing tonight?
Struggling, but I'm doing good. A little hungover, but we're here.
Thriving.
Yeah, I feel that. Thriving?
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been an extremely busy couple months for me. So I'm like really honored to be able to like kind of come to an end of the super busy part of like my last couple months and go into a more technical side in the later part of the months, but that's my own stuff. So why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves, and I'll highlight you all and let's tell everybody about you. Who'd like to go first?
I'll go first. Okay. Wow. I don't even know how to. Why is this the hardest part? Like talking about myself. I don't know how to do it. It never gets easier. Well, my name's Steffi Evans. I'm a full-time content creator that streams Call of Duty, and I started a little trend where I shit on fragile men in COD and then expose them on social media. Funny enough, I have a biology degree because I wanted to become a veterinarian, and I kind of went woo, and then now I'm an entertainer. So it's a little about me.
That's always awesome. I love your content, by the way. Like I always, I'm just like I said in like the one tweet the other day. There's a reason why I've been watching you for as many years as I have. Like your content is amazing, your personality is great, and like it's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. How about you, Sav? Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, hi. My name's Miss Savage, or you can call me Sav. Most of my community does. I am also a full-time streamer, part-time content creator, because I always forget to create the actual content and post it, so there's that. So we're working on it. I'll go full-time with content eventually, maybe, probably, hopefully. But yeah, I am the crazy queen, as my community calls it, because we just have a lot of chaos. We do all kinds of games from Fortnite, getting back into Apex. It describes my
Apex
mental health.
is fun.
And sometimes Call of Duty, and definitely nothing like Seth does if I'm usually the one running around clueless. But yeah, we do a variety of games, have a lot of fun doing it. And yeah, that's me.
Well, Sav, I always love watching your stuff as well. And like I try to come by your streams like whenever I can. You actually stream a lot earlier than I do. So like when it's time for me to like kind of like actually get on, like I'm literally catching you like kind of near the end of your streams. So but I always love your stuff, and it's also like a pleasure to actually have you on this podcast, and I'm really excited to like help educate some newer creators on what it's like to be an empowered woman in content. How about you, Tiff? Why don't you tell the world about yourself?
I'm Tiff. Online, I'm Positive. I'm a mom first, gamer, hard second, even though I haven't had a ton of time for gaming. I call myself a retired streamer. I really just go live randomly now if I have to for work or for fun. But I'm industry side, so I've retired my streaming career. But I love it, and I'm very happy to be here.
Well, Tiff, I remember I remember when you created the what was it, the WLGL, right?
Yep, no, the NLGL.
NLGL.
It was so fun. It was so fun. I have so much respect for Steffi for keeping it going because I know how much work it takes. But it's a lot of fun, and it's stuff like that's really needed. So.
And honestly, like as with everybody else, I'm very excited to have you guys on, and we have some really cool stuff in the works for this podcast. I'm gonna try and keep it timely tonight, but like really more so open form. But so I guess to start things off, let's go ahead and get into like the nitty gritty, and let me ask, what unique challenges or opportunities do you think female content creators face in this industry today? This is like open to whoever.
Challenges, you said?
Yeah.
Where do
Like
I start?
challenges or opportunities.
Like,
So this is stuff I know nothing about, so I have to turn it over to you
I
all.
mean, I feel like we can't. I mean, I feel like everybody kind of like faces these challenges, and like you can't just narrow it down to women, of course. But obviously, when it comes to the gaming space, especially first-person shooter games, like obviously, if you speak and you have a lighter voice, or you sound like a kid, or you sound like a woman, you're bound to get harassed. You're gonna get attacked. So. I mean, that's kind of, it's funny because that's how I started my content, and that's the reason I am full-time today, is because of being harassed on video games. And I mean, it's, to me, it doesn't hurt me anymore. It doesn't get to me, which is nice. But I know a lot of women out there, I know a lot of other creators are struggling with this, especially with like people coming at them and tearing them down. For me, it's kind of like a laughing matter, which it didn't start that way. When I first started content creation and social media, it got to me and I actually quit. I don't know if you guys know this, but like I had a blow up back in 2018, 2019, and I got a lot of hate. And I actually ended up kind of quitting and finding a full-time job and like doing social media on the side, like just more for a hobby rather than how I'm doing it now. And it ended up being I ended up working full time. I don't want to take the space for too long because I know we're limited on time. But long story short, I ended up actually being like, you know what? Fuck this. I want to entertain. I want to do what I love, and I want to do something I'm passionate about. And I quit my job and went all in. And I took this hatred. I started building. Obviously, I came back with more confidence, and I was like, you know what? I want to bring that confidence onto others, and that's how I started my content. And that's how I started Rights to Unmute, the nonprofit organization that we recently launched. So I'm not going to take the table for too long, so go ahead.
No, you're welcome to go ahead and talk about Rights to Unmute for a minute.
I'll go forever. Trust me. I can take this entire segment. I can take up this entire segment talking about everything. So I'll add on as we go.
Of course.
Also, just kind of piggyback off of that, I would say one of the biggest challenges as a woman is, like, you can never win. If you're gaming and you're doing really well, someone's playing for you or you're cheating. If you show too much skin, you most likely are an OnlyFans streamer. If you don't show enough skin, you're a prude. Too much makeup, not enough makeup, you're too loud. Like, there's always something.
Anything,
exactly.
you know?
There's always something that you're doing wrong as a woman in this industry. No matter what. No matter what you do, you could be the best at a game, you'll never be taken seriously. And I mean, it's the same thing. It even goes into esports. Esports is one of the only sports organization where men and women can compete at the same level, because it's nothing about physics, it's all about skill base. Yet there's no women on any esport team. There's specific leagues for women. Like, come on. No matter what we do, no matter what we say, no matter how we act, it's always going to be wrong in the majority of the gaming industry's eyes. And that's probably one of the biggest obstacles.
And that's always a difficult thing, because like it's really like sad for me to kind of like to hear some of these stories and like see people talking about this type of stuff, because like women are better than men at a lot of games, and people just can't accept it, because like as Steph said, like people are just fragile, and like it's 2024. Why don't we like pay attention?
They think they're anonymous too.
Right.
That's
And they're
the thing.
not.
Like,
Just
yeah.
because you're online doesn't mean and hiding behind a random username doesn't mean people can't figure it out. I work in cybersecurity. It is super, super easy to figure that stuff out. I can tell you, but I'm not going to go into that because we can talk about that a different time. Tiff, what about you?
I think disproportionately when you look at just, society as a whole, we've, as women, had to overcome a lot. We've had to work a lot harder to get to, higher places. And then when you do get there, it's undermined with, who'd you have to blow or sleep with, or people just think that there's something else besides your brain that got you there. And it's been so frustrating to see because gaming is actually one of the fastest growing industries in the last 15 years. That's 15 years that this industry has been growing at a rapid rate. And it is significantly statistically behind every other industry in terms of women specific representation and representation of gender marginalized gender creators and devs and women who work on the industry side. And it's something that from the get-go with streaming I started to notice and just felt very upset about, and that brought out that like angry passion of like Call of Duty is a great example. You look at like the World Series of Warzone, and the only reason women are playing in it is if they get an invite from a man who is a captain, and then the men don't pick the women. And it's just kind of this domino effect of breaking a norm cycle that's centuries long, that for some reason, specifically with video games, this market has been tailored to a specific audience for so long. They feel very strongly about pushback on the status quo, and that status quo needs to change, and it's changing slowly. It is changing, it's getting better, but at the rate it's getting better is significantly declined from every other industry, and it's about damn time, come on.
Yeah.
It's 2024. Women shouldn't have to mute to play video games. Women should be
Right, so
looked
unmute,
at
baby. Unmute your mic. Speak up.
seriously.
Come on.
We should. It's such an important message. Like I find myself, I've recently done it with between work and being a mom and all of the stuff that goes on. You get tired, and I mean, I play Valorant, so most of the time I do not use my mic just because I would love to. Valorant's a game, CS:GO is a game, those kinds of games, they take a lot of communication between your teammates, and every time I open my mic, you never know what you're going to get, and I hate that. I hate it. I hate it for us. I think that things just need to change. It needs to get better somehow, some way, and I'm so happy like with what Steffi's doing, like these organizations that are coming out and starting these conversations, they're met with so much pushback, and I think everybody else can start helping. The more we speak our voices and the more normalized it is to not do it and to be given pushback, then the more these people will be like, oh, I'm doing something wrong, because they really genuinely do not see what they're doing wrong behind a keyboard.
They don't, especially if like they're saying all this stuff online and nobody says anything. They're like, obviously, like it's not an issue, and that's why, yeah, it sucks. It sucks having to unmute your mic and stand up to piece of shits all the time. Like it's energy draining. It's not what you want to do after a long work day, but if one person starts doing it, more people will start following along and being like, yo, this person did it, why can't I? And that's kind of how I've built my content around the amount of people that come into my chat and is like, you've given me the confidence and courage to speak up and to unmute my mic. I'm like, I love hearing that. They're like, I just unmute my mic and start laughing at them or talk about, excuse me, but their micro penises when they talk shit to me, and like it just like your comebacks, I write them down and then I have them next to me when I game. I'm like, really?
That's a good one.
Like, yeah. I'm like, you actually do that? They're like, yeah. Like I have a whole journal of like all your comebacks, and every time somebody talks shit to me, I will literally just like look and then use one of your comebacks, and it's just like they don't expect you to stand up for yourself. They don't expect you to actually like put them in their place, and then sometimes they're kind of like, whoa, oh,
as a tech guy wrong. As a tech guy, I want to take that journal, I want to automize it, so all you have to do is click a button every time something is repeated. Just so we can make that an open-faced public platform of most insults on video games, because that's like, it's sad that like, one, when people try to insult women in the gaming industry, they're terrible at it.
It's boring at this point. They say the same thing over and over again.
And like they do that to me too.
Call us fat. Go to the kitchen.
Go to the kitchen. I'm like,
okay, honey.
You literally jump into every game and you say this. You spend $70 to say the same line over and over again. Like it genuinely, like I do my fake laugh at them, and they're like, it wasn't that funny. I'm like, obviously not. Like I was
No.
actually laughing. Like
Like, and I always tell them, like, if you're gonna troll me, at least, like, be creative, be original. Like, if you're gonna be a shit human, be your own kind of shit human. Stop using the same stuff that everyone uses over and over again, because it has zero effect at this point.
See, one thing I do want to say though is I don't want to cancel toxicity altogether. That is not what I'm doing with Rights to Unmute. Obviously, there's banter, like toxic banter. That's
It's competitive.
You know, yeah,
Right.
it's competitive. At the end of the day, you get home from work and you you clutch a 1v6 situation. You're gonna yell, "You're dog shit," you know, like that. It's just like that adrenaline rush. Like I still do that. I talk about, their moms and I slept with
Right.
them last night and like a lot of stuff like that. And it's just like I encourage you to talk shit back, but like don't cross the line. Like there's
Right,
no
there's
need for hate
banter, and then
speech.
there's just
banter and
downright
there's
wrong.
hate speech,
Yeah.
Like
Banter
there's
versus
it's such
bigotry.
yeah, it's such a big, and it's just not that hard. Like imagine your work listen to what you've been saying on video games. You would not
But
have
what I
that
never
talk
get too
anymore.
is like, would you talk to your mom like that? Like, what would your mom
Exactly.
say? What would your aunt say? Your sister? Your
Like imagine, yeah, they're sitting in the next door room and they're listening to what you're saying. Like there's no chance in hell they'd be saying the stuff they were
A
saying.
lot of the times they actually are, and they just ignore it, and it's just upsetting to me that they let that stuff happen.
Oh, my
I
mom
could
would
go-
actually beat me.
Same.
Oh, yeah.
I could go on
Oh.
for hours about the responsibility of parents in monitoring their kids on video games. The reason that we have half this problem is because the parents are not getting involved when kids are on the internet and they see things. Their favorite streamer does it, and their favorite streamers are not good role models, and now they're replicating the behavior. And most of the time, the parents are in the other room going, "Oh, it's just a video game," but they don't understand that years of normalizing bad behavior is not just playing a video game.
Agreed. So,
See,
oh, go ahead, Seth.
no, you're good. You're
Oh,
good.
I was
Keep going forever.
gonna move into slightly the next question. This is kind of a tag along off of the next question. Do you guys have any like gender related obstacles while you're building your career within content creation? So we talked about like the in-game stuff. So let's talk about the out-of-game stuff. And this is something I definitely want to pull up.
Can you say that question again? I was looking at chat and
Sure. Sure, by all means. Have you encountered any gender-related obstacles or biases while building your career in content creation? This is outside of
100%.
gaming itself.
I would say the cyber stalking that women go through is disproportionately men just don't deal with it. I left content creation, and I can say this now because it's been months and they finally have left me alone. But I left content creation because of I was terrified for me and my family. When you are a woman on the internet and you put yourself out there for everybody. And for some reason, women specifically deal with like a next level type of stalking, sending things to my house, emailing my family members. Like it's wild. And I haven't been able to throw a rock in the industry yet where I've spoken to a woman who has not somehow dealt with something similar. People following them to conventions, people finding we just this week saw it on Twitter, a woman who went to go pick up a PO package and found a tracker in the package. That's just what is a norm.
That was Liz, right? You're talking about?
Yeah, somebody
That's so
messaged her and
terrifying.
said that
So
the
scary.
package got lost.
That I
they
put an
knew
air
it.
tag.
And she was like, "Do you realize, like, if I had taken this package to my house, now you know where I live." Like that specifically is just something
And
that
the
is
guy that
a
sent his
norm.
clothes. Did you see
The
that?
clothes. That's what I was gonna talk
Yeah,
about
it's
too. Like the
creepy.
entitlement.
Oh, I
The
made a
entitlement
whole
that
tweet
people
about
get.
that, and people were like, "What's so wrong with it? He was just saving money." I'm like, "Do you not see in the comments on the bottom left? You could see him saying, "Yeah, I sent it on purpose." Like, obviously, it was a method for him to either go pick up the clothes from her house or to meet her in person. Like, what's she gonna do? You know, she's gonna have to either send them on, which would be the smart, or just throw them away, which I would. But like, it was a way for him to meet her. Like, let's be real. Like, and the guys saying like, "It's nothing weird about that. Why are you guys being weird?" I'm like, it's weird.
It's very weird, and I feel like
Imagine
that's
a
like
stranger
kind of
doing it.
yeah.
You know, that's what
And
you
like
are.
that's where I feel like for me too, and I know some you kind of piggyback off both of those, is that next level people that feel that entitlement to you. that like they feel like they know you, they're entitled to know. Like I don't share my personal name with anybody, but like the amount of people who hound me, like I've gifted you this, I've been in your community for this long, like I should know. No, you shouldn't. What I like, you are not entitled to me as a person at all in any capacity, and my boundaries are my boundaries, and no matter what you do, isn't gonna change that. And they get so mad and they leave. That's one of the biggest obstacles. Is just like, or they try to do all this for you because they want something from you, and the minute you don't give them that, they're gone and they're pissy and you're a horrible person.
And they just get mad. Like there was one person that donated a lot of subs, like almost 2,000 on Twitch when I first started my career, and because of that, he's used it against me to this day for me to like raid him or like come to his stream or like have him in my
so sad.
Discord calls late at night. And like he DMs me on Discord still to this day, and I don't respond anymore. Like it's gotten to a point where like he used this many, because it's a lot, almost 2,000 subs is a lot of money, and still to this day he uses it against me. He's like, hey, can you raid me after your stream? I'm like, no.
Yep.
Like,
but it also
what?
creates this huge obstacle because you think some of these people are there to support you and your career and your content, and they're there for you and they enjoy your content.
You.
But then
Or
they
buying
have
a
these
spot.
alternative motives, and that's what kills me. And I feel like that's like that pushback of like I feel like I'm getting momentum and I'm building something, and then this shoe drops and they want to date me, they want something more from me, and if I don't get it back, then they're gone. So it's like when you think you're getting this genuine support because they like your content and they like you as a creator and a streamer, and they want to see you be successful, until they want to drop that shoe of this is what I actually want from you and everything else I said is bullshit. And it's so hard to deal with because once again it makes you question. I know so I speak for myself, it makes me question like, am I a good content creator or am I just, you know what I mean? It gets in your head a bit because you think you have this support when really they just want to get in your pants. And it's like, cool.
Yeah, or they like somehow, or the buying. So like obviously on Search and Destroy it's team based, right? You have 6 people, and they believe that just because they're, and this is no one that we know, anybody in chat. This is from when I first started, like OG days. You guys, some people actually know who he is. He's creepy. But it's no one now. Like now people that are supporting me have been genuine, which is my community has changed. I have a very heavy woman-based community. It's like 90%.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
love that.
But the thing is, like, so many of them like donate to me, but they don't expect anything, and it's just like,
which is how it should be.
But it's okay. It's not like, I don't know. It's obviously women can be weird too, but like, it's always been with like males, like in this industry, like paying money for like a search and destroy spot, and then if they don't get it, they throw a hissy fit. And I'm like, that's so weird.
People forget that we're all human beings, and having like that basic respect is just important. And like people forget that, and like they try to buy people and they try to like get involved, and like when they don't, they just get upset. And like I keep seeing in the chat, parasocial relationships. I mean, it's weird how the content industry is pretty much ridiculously based off of parasocial relationships, and it's scary to a point because some of those parasocial relationships go south ridiculously fast, and it is a very situation, and I'm very empathetic.
I had one. This was actually my fault. I was a dumbass. I had this person that had been in my stream for about almost 2 years. This was back in the OG days, and he made a present for Christmas because his mom does like engraving of wood and stuff. I actually have it. Funny enough. Wait, let me show you. It's actually really cool. Right? Like it's.
Oh, that is cool.
That is really cool.
Like it has all my, like it's super cool. It's super cool. But my dumbass, for him to give this to me, I gave out my address when it first started. You know, because he lived in my area. He was close by. But ever since then, and I don't really mind if it gets to him because I had to put him in his spot, like actually in front of other people as well. But he started because he had my address and he thought we were best friends. He started signing up for the league that I was playing soccer in and stuff in my area. He told me that he signed up for the same league, and I told him straight up, I was like, you better fucking not. Like, or I'm blocking you on everything. That's weird. Like, we are not on that level. You just gave me a gift because, like, you were genuine. And then he tried to like meet up and go to dinner and do other stuff. I'm like, like this has to stop. But the thing is, like, I thought he was being genuine until I realized that. And then he was Snapchatting me every single day, like asking me weird questions, like telling me stuff, sending me videos of him crying and all this stuff. I was like, okay, this has to stop. Like we are not on that level. Like you were just giving me this out of like because of DYOD and like respect of my career and how far I've come. Like I have a boyfriend. Like this is not something that should be happening. So like it's just like you get put in those situations and you don't know what to do. And especially when they start threatening that suicide or self-harm to like get to you. The amount of times that's happened. Like I'm going to hurt myself if you don't answer. I'm like I don't know what to do. Like I really do not know what to do in that situation. It's so hard, but it happens so much. Like it's already happened a handful of times where I've literally been like I don't know what to do. He's like just tell them straight up and then block them.
Yep.
I'm like, but what if they actually do something?
That's
Then
almost
I
more
feel like
dangerous.
it's my
That's more dangerous, honestly.
Yeah. I
I
feel like it's my fault.
I have found, and this is the advice I've given. I had a nip slip in my
I
career right
remember
after I
that.
hit
I
partner.
remember that.
I remember
You,
that.
you did.
Yeah.
You went with it well, though.
You did.
You
My-
pulled that shit off. I
Yeah.
remember.
I didn't know. I claim that was naivety. I made a joke out of it. I'm very much when embarrassing things happen, I laugh. I love making fun of myself. It's fine. I don't take life very seriously. So I made jokes on Twitter about it. Me and my community joked about it. But that situation, and what a lot of people don't know, that was what originated my stalker. They tried to extort me for money. They made a Twitter account and posted my topless photo that was taken from screen grabs from it all over the internet, followed all kinds of creators I was mutual with. To, they emailed it to the brands I was working with.
Oh,
Jesus.
God.
That's
And
just
it's
scary.
and I really genuinely, after, that was the first time anything like that had happened to me. And I was very much like, once it was, I say that I was standing on a hill and the rock hadn't rolled yet, because when it happened, it was just my community that saw it. They only knew about it. The second I posted it on Twitter, it became a snowball, and it rolled down that hill, and it rolled fast. And now my advice to women, when you get a stalker or something crazy like that happens, don't talk about it publicly. Don't block them. Do not get engaged with them. Ignore. And it sucks. You shouldn't have to. But I have found, and this is advice I was given to by some big creators that I knew personally, that were like, we're going to tell you what happened and why. And then from that moment on, I never publicly started talking about it again. For over a year, I was just mum's the word, didn't respond, didn't talk about it on stream. Only my mods knew what was going on. They would send me things in chat all the time. I would get DMs on all my socials from bots. It was just a lot. And now my advice is, don't talk about it. And I hate it, because I think it's one of the biggest downsides for women in gaming, is that we can't really communicate about this stuff when it happens, because you're so worried about opening another door, unraveling a box. But it is genuinely the case. If you ignore them, they go away faster for some reason. But I have been told horror stories of what blocking can do. People can get crazy when you set a boundary, and a block is a boundary. It is removing access to yourself for them. And I have personally dealt with the double-edged sword of that it almost emboldens them to be crazier. And so now I always say, just as much as you can ice them out, don't respond if they get bored. If it gets to a point where it's scary, get people involved. Always get somebody involved. Make sure you tell trusted people what's going on, so people are aware, in case anything does happen. Get a security system.
I
I
remember
tell
you
every
kind
woman
of know.
streamer.
I remember you kind of like talked about it. I didn't know it was like this crazy though.
It was bad. It was people,
Especially going out it through email, like brands,
yeah,
like
yep. And it was just really bad too, because I feel like I mean, my average, I was about partner average before that happened. I was sitting at like 120 to 140 for a while, and my chat didn't change. And I got reposted on that Twitch Gone Wild Reddit page. And for months afterwards, I just had random users in chat that I had never seen before or heard of. They didn't chat, they were just sitting there. And I couldn't shake that feeling of every time I went live, I just could feel them looking at me.
They're probably like waiting for something else to happen.
Yeah,
or,
waiting
like,
for
That
something else to
alone is
happen or doing
scary.
whatever the weirdos do.
Yeah.
It was off-putting and
or something else. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say it, but
yeah,
you,
but
you know what I'm
you know
implying.
exactly. Yep, that's where my brain would go. And
Mhm.
I'm so thankful from the very beginning. I have never shared my kid's face on the internet. They're not a part of my content. The most I do is tell stories that I think, if they were an 18-year-old adult, they wouldn't hate me for sharing. There's some things I wish I could talk about, but I treat my kids like they're 18 already in terms of like respecting their bodily autonomy and who they are. And even if I explain to my 5-year-old what the internet is, there's no way in heck she's going to be able to understand. And was so thankful for it, because when that stalking stuff started and I was getting all those DMs and all of these messages, a lot of it started to center around people who felt like they had a right to my children just because they knew I had them. And I will say this with my whole chest: I don't judge any parents for what they do. We're all doing our best, but I've gotten some disgusting DMs of what people think that you'll give them, because you have a child, and what you could make, what money people will offer to have access to them. And it scared me off the internet. I
fair.
was just like, I feel like it's just from the top down. I don't know how you fix it, but if you put yourself out there and you talk about your life, there will be crazy people on the internet who are going to come in and figure out what they can use and what they want, and they'll try to find a way to get it from you. And it's
feel
a very
like-
fine line to walk.
I feel like no matter what you do, it's something that's going to turn into something that's more difficult to be able to solve. And it's a very scary situation to put yourself in. But it's kind of like you don't know which path to take, and they all suck, but you have to take a path. And it's like kind of like, what do you do? Where do you go? And that stuff's so scary.
I will say
feel
I've
like-
been pretty fortunate that I've dealt with weird messages, advances and stuff, but I haven't really per se had like any kind of stalkers or anyone take it to the extreme. And one thing that I've always really advocated and I talk to streamers about is the power of protecting your name and your location. Like,
Yeah.
I've never shared now people know I live in Florida, but Florida's huge. Good luck
Florida's huge,
pinpointing
yeah.
exactly where I am.
Mhm.
And you don't know my first name. You don't know anything about me besides Miss Savage and Sav. And I think that a lot of creators forget that it is the internet. A name, that's like the first thing they need to find you. And for new creators and for women especially, like, it sucks that we have to take these precautions. And men should too, to be honest. I've seen more guys get swatted all the time. But there
And
is
deal
a
with
lot of
racism
power
too.
in protecting yourself by protecting your name, protecting your location. And part of it too for me is the reason why I didn't think of it that way when I first started. I thought of it that way because for me it's like I knew I was gonna get a lot of hate. I knew I was gonna get a lot of comments and a lot of all this, but for me it was always, how much can you hate me if you don't even know my name? How much of what you're saying can be true if you don't even know my first name? So it kind of gave me like an ultimate protection for my own mental health, because you're
barrier.
insulting Miss Savage and Sav, like, but you don't know me, so how much, like, your words mean nothing because you're not even insulting, like, you don't know me at all. So it
Yeah,
kind
I
of like
kinda screwed
creates
up when I
that.
made my
Same.
username.
Yeah,
Same.
and then
Debbie.
people don't think about that at first. So anyone who might be starting
Yeah.
streaming, it's not too late. Like, there is a lot to a name, and I feel like it helps create that automatic boundary. And like I said, you'll get a lot of pushback. The amount of people that always like, well, what's your name? I'm not telling you. I get it all the time. Every convention I go to, they're like, well, I just told you mine. I'm like, that's great. I don't
Tell 'em
share
it's
my
Savannah.
name.
it's-
Like,
yeah,
I
Savage.
genuinely thought your name was Savannah until this moment, and I'm like, oh, it has nothing to do with Savage. I would just run with a fake one.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, and it could be Savannah. No one
knows?
knows. Like, that's what I'm saying.
could
Like,
be
nobody.
Morgan. Or
Right?
Jessica.
It could literally be whatever. My name is whatever y'all want it to be, sweetie. I don't care. But Savage, Sav, whatever you want. Otherwise,
That's why
Make
I
up
chose
another name.
percussive, so nobody is able to see what my name is. No one can even find my name anywhere. Percussive doesn't relate anywhere close to my name. I mean, you can call me Peter, but that's not my
yeah.
name.
See,
So-
the Sav came from right there.
That's
See?
not my name.
That's not my name.
Sav came. That's how I got Sav.
Yeah, no, my name's really hard to figure out.
I cannot guess it to save my life.
No,
I
don't
couldn't
think
either.
So-
I think you would never know my last name.
So I
You'll
want to
never
shift
tell.
gears. I want to shift gears slightly because I had a bunch of questions from Mama Perk, and Mama Perk definitely had some questions that she wanted to ask, this panel of incredible female content creators. So, Mama Perk wants to know, how much do you think your appearance affects your success on social media?
A lot,
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot.
a lot.
A lot.
And it sucks. I hate it. I hate it too because you have to admit it. It does. Like, and I say it's a double-edged sword though. I say it's a double-edged sword because if you are and beauty is so subjective. I say that like it's a $7.2 billion industry. Okay, guys, they just want us to be insecure. But it's that like line that if you are what somebody's type is online, they are going to watch you more. But it also means that you're going to attract the people who only want to watch you for what you look like, and it sucks. Like especially because if you are somebody who's willing to put what you look like out on the internet, you're also putting yourself out there for every single person's comment and what their opinion is on it, and oh my gosh, your boobs are showing too much, or I get so often, especially on TikTok, people telling me I'm horrible and hideous because I have tattoos. Like it's so subjective.
Hey,
they
I think
definitely do
tattoos are hot, just straight up, on a guy or on a
I'm like,
woman. They're
I'm
great.
like, I don't care what your
And your
opinions
tattoos
are,
are
y'all.
awesome.
I like them. They're expensive. I'm gonna
Both
wear them.
That's what I always think about. When I see someone on tattoos, I'm like, that's expensive.
Yeah, I don't get carded anymore if my tattoos are showing. If my tattoos aren't showing, they're like, no, we need to see ID. But if they are showing, they're like, nah, you're good. And I'm like, that's because they're expensive. So you can insult me all you want, but you couldn't do it if you wanted to, little boy.
Right.
I mean, yeah, bouncing off that, obviously, it is subjective to like what your type is.
Hmm.
But like, when it comes to, not gonna lie, women have it easier in this industry. It is easier for us to use our bodies and our looks to get viewers. And let's be real, like it's fine. Like I don't care. However you want to do your content, that's you. It's just like, but it's just what's annoying is how upset people get about how women like show themselves off or
Mhm.
how much makeup they wear or like it's just like who the fuck cares, like at the end of the
Oh,
day,
real.
like move on and go find someone else. But it's just like I hate the fact that everybody has to go out of their way to start drama or start beef or talk shit, or I'm like, who cares? Like her tits are out. Okay, she has nice tits. If I had tits, my tits would be out. I literally have nothing. If I had some, I'm sorry. I'm showing them off. Like if I have a nice ass body, I'm wearing like crop tops and sitting on stream like that. It's just like genuinely it amazes me. And I never really found this to be a thing until cuz I wasn't on social media whatsoever when I was doing my degree. And everybody was walking around in crop tops and booty shorts, and nobody cared in my college.
Mhm.
Like I went to school in Florida for 2 years, and then I transferred to Texas. But in Florida, all the girls were walking around in
Yeah.
bikinis. at
It's
school.
hot.
It's so
and
freaking hot
It
here.
was never. And then online, it's the biggest deal.
It is.
Like it's the like you see someone take a hot picture and they're like, "Oh, she's a whore." I'm like, "Why? She likes her body. She's comfortable in her skin. Who cares? She's
That
not
makes me
showing
so
her
mad.
vagina or her tits."
I feel like that
it's
should be
color.
celebrated and not degraded. But
Yeah, it's astonishing to me.
Well, then
Like,
that's the thing is, and I see it a lot because my tits are out. I post provocative photos sometimes,
Yeah.
and because I fucking want to.
Hot.
I've been going to the
'Cause you
gym
look
and
hot.
I've been working on myself.
Because you look hot.
and that's the thing is, but then it automatically gets met with, okay, well, where's the OnlyFans thing? It's like, so it's like you're either in one word or the other. You know what I mean? You can't live in the middle of any as a female, and that's what pisses me off the most. It's like, why can't I take pride in what I'm wearing? Because like what I wear on stream, it's the only clothes I own, so I wear it out this house or here. Like that's it. It's not like I have like stream specific clothes. I'm wearing clothes and I'm simply existing and I'm playing a fucking video game. Get off my dick. Like you
And
don't like
one
it, I don't
thing-
know what to tell you.
Oh, the one thing that pisses me off, people come into my stream, right? Usually my TikTok, and they're like, "Oh my god, finally I found a woman that isn't showing off her boobs because I'm
Oof.
sitting in a sweatshirt." And my response is always, if I could show off my boobs, I'd be sitting here with my boobs out.
Dude, the
It's
other
just I
night someone said
physically
that to
can't.
me. I had a zipped up jacket. I go, really? I zipped my jacket and I just sat there. I was like, yeah, leave my stream now.
Like it's just like, at the end
Oh.
of, yeah, it's just like we're just like
Damned if
Judged.
you do, Damned
Yes,
if you don't.
Don't. That's well
Yep.
said.
No matter what.
Well
No matter
said.
what we do.
If I don't have an OnlyFans, people are like, "What's your OnlyFans? What's your OnlyFans?" I had a joke after for so long. I would get it so often in my chat that now we had an exclamation OnlyFans that linked to my PayPal because I was like,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
so. You want to
mine
pay
times
me?
people out.
I'm like, if you want to pay me, you can give it to me for free. But like, I'm not. I don't know what to tell you. But then also, then if you turn around and you make one, because so many people bother you about it for so long, now it's a problem.
Yep.
Now it's an issue, and I
Oh,
could go
you're an
on.
OnlyFans streamer.
I could go on for hours about the double standards within the sex industry for women. If it's a guy on a porn set and she's doing it for somebody who's kind of coercing her to be there, because that is a very prevalent thing in the sex industry, it's okay for you guys. You'll still watch that online for free. You'll go and download and watch and give it all your views. But if it's a woman who's in charge of her own body and her own business and she's making bank and she's finally getting to, like, I know personally one of my friends from high school who's a single mom and she's changed her whole life and her confidence. I'm like, girl, you have
Pop
me
off.
convinced to almost do it because your confidence in yourself is so high. But now if it's that way, now it's a problem. And it just makes me so angry because these Twitter fingers
Twitter warriors,
guys
the
that are
Timmies.
all up in OnlyFans, girl. I know for a fact, like, statistics say 1/3 of you are watching porn. So if you're watching porn, you can't be mad about it because the only thing about OnlyFans is that most of these women are their own boss and have a
It's safer for them.
I have so much respect for OF women. Like, I know so many
me
different
too, because
people
the confidence
in that
too.
industry.
I could
Yes.
never. I literally take my clothes off and stand in the mirror sometimes. I'm like, oh God, like how?
I feel you.
Like,
After 2 kids, I feel
don't.
you.
I do not have that confidence.
I
Like,
always talk about it. If I was still in my 20s, I'd be all up on there. I don't give two shits. Like, it just,
I remember I weighed 130 pounds and I was the fittest I've ever been in my life, and I still, like, I would look at myself and be like, ew. So the fact that people are able to, like, post pictures and post the stuff they do and look hot, I'm like, please, like, if I had that confidence, I'd do it. Like,
It's also just human nature to
Yeah.
want validation in yourself.
Right.
And so, like, when people are like, "Oh, she's only posting that for comments," it's like, yeah, every human, it's literally psychology. We like being told, like, reinforce positive things about ourselves. So, like, if I take a hot selfie where I'm looking good, whether my tits are out or not, I'm gonna post it because if other people say, "Hey, you look great," I'm like, "Oh my gosh, okay." So it's not like I actually feel it. Like that feeling that you get, it's the same as when you post a great clip of a game where you hit like the coolest shot. It's the same exact thing. People just want to share what they feel proud of and have other people be like, "Oh, that's cool too." It's that, because then you get that serotonin, and it's just like, it's not that deep. She posted the selfie because she looks hot. Like, that's it. That's all it is. She felt like she was hot and she was like, I'm going to post this on Twitter because it feels good. That's why social media exists.
Yep.
And the no profile picture warriors come out and
Yeah.
say you're
Yeah.
ugly.
Oh,
And it's
God.
like,
Yeah.
It's
what do you
always
look like?
Giga
Fat.
Chads. It's always Giga Chads with cyber monkey, like the little,
Oh my God.
you know what I'm talking, the NFT.
Yes.
All
Yeah, it's
NFTs
always
all the
the
time.
thing.
And why
So-
is it always you're fat? Why? Why is that
Yeah.
like the standard go-to? Like,
It's like,
Especially
why not
for
do
women,
something-
like,
yeah.
in gaming too. Like,
right?
just, you're
It's
fat
always women
or
in
you're
gaming.
ugly.
We're fat,
Like, you
fat and
have
ugly.
to be ugly and fat.
Yep.
Yeah, you still
be a
couldn't
woman
pull me
gamer.
if you tried. Like, please.
Right. That's
when
what I
would
always
you
say. I'm
come?
like, okay, I might be fat and ugly, but you could never touch me. So I don't know what that says, bro. Like, good job.
So
you.
I do have a question for you, for everybody here. Since we are like getting close to time, I definitely want to pose this. What can we do as males to support females in the content creation industry?
Speak up!
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
shut
your
it
mind, stand up.
down.
It's so hot. I'm telling you, like,
Please.
dude, yesterday or not? Yeah, yesterday, Adam was playing with me and he unmuted his mic and started talking shit with me, and I'm like, oh my God, you are so lucky that we are 3 hours away from each other, because I'd be jumping on you. Like, I'm telling you, just unmute, talk shit alongside them, stand up
Yeah.
for them.
Call them
If you
out.
see something, comment on it. Don't just be like, oh, and oh my God, if I hear if you ever say that's just boys being boys, holy fuck,
Oh my
I
God.
hate that
No.
statement. I
They
hate that
say the
statement.
same.
no.
We
I'm
talk
sorry,
like this to
guys
our
who try
friends,
to
too.
defend other men by saying it's just boys being boys or it's just guy talk, fuck off. Fuck
Mhm.
off.
Mhm.
Fix it. Because if that's your guy talking boys being boys, fucking fix it. Because
Or
that's
it's that
disgusting.
we treat other people the same online.
Right.
Like we say the
Wouldn't it
same
be
stuff to
sexist
guys.
if
I'm
we
like,
didn't?
that's crazy because I've done many instances where I have my guy friends talk first and say, "Hey, what's up? GG's, whatever," and then I come in and they go off.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's every
It's a
single time.
switch.
Not once has it failed me. I'm like, we're not treated the same. Like you
No.
guys hear a woman, you get crazy. Your penises get tinier. I don't understand.
We
really,
really
guys
need,
just need to be an ally.
we
Yeah.
we
Yes.
we need it on all avenues too. Like
Mhm.
if you're in a game and there's a girl in your game and you don't know her, but she's being completely assaulted verbally, say something. If you are a man in the competitive gaming who's given awesome opportunities, do what you can to support the other talented women in whatever game you play. Because the only way this is going to change is if the men step up and start to change it. And I
Yep.
hate to say that because it feels like it takes the power away from women, but we aren't being given the power to make genuine change. I know so many women in the industry side who are fighting so hard to create these opportunities, to give these opportunities, to do the outreach, to do the community building, but it all goes on deaf ears if these men aren't going to change their opinions. And
I
only people
100%
who are
agree.
the only people who are they respect enough to change their opinion is going to be other men, because you're talking to guys who don't genuinely think that our voice has any validity. So me telling them you shouldn't talk to people like that, what if I was your mother or your sister? They don't give a shit. But if
No.
another man steps in, they all of a sudden are like, it's that like threat thing where they're like, wait, I feel challenged. And then if you double down, if they start arguing with you and you are a man who doubles down, oh my goodness, you have the opportunity to actually change that. And it could be even be nice about it. Be like, hey man, like, I don't know, if I was her, I feel like that shit would really ruin my day. Even something as small as that pushback, they feel it so much harder than if we say it. They just don't listen to it if we say it.
Oh no.
And it sucks.
I agree.
100%. Like,
And
guys being an ally and helping create a space for women to have a voice.
And build
Because
them
right
up.
now we're not given a space, so it takes some y'all to help us get to that point. So, because kind of like what Tiff was saying, we don't. It's not that we're not damsels. We don't need to be saved. We need allies. We need people who are going to
Yeah.
fight with
Yeah.
us, not for us.
Mhm.
And I think that that's a really misconstrued. Is like a lot of guys sometimes feel like they're like, oh, I'll take care of it. I'm like, no, I don't need you to take care of it. I just need you to be by my side
Yeah.
and
Talk shit
fight
with me.
with
Join
me.
me.
Exactly.
Back me up.
I feel like sometimes it's just they underestimate how the power of their voice. Like, I mean,
Right.
gosh, if you had somebody like Aiden Ross come out and publicly say some of these things that we all know are true, you have the opportunity to change an entire generation of young men's minds, the way that they see us, the way that they interact with us and talk to us. If they start seeing good examples, having people actually say some stuff, to stand up, to put women in spotlights when they can, it would change the way that things
Everything.
are. It would change everything.
Mhm.
We just need influential people, specifically men, to also have the conversation. You guys are so quiet. You guys are so quiet because you don't want it to be your fight. But at the end of the day, when it's your daughter, it's gonna be your fight. Okay? Do you if you are a man who plays video games right now and you have a little girl, do you want her to go into these games and be assaulted verbally every time she opens her mic? If the answer
Over
is
and
no,
over
and you
and
don't want that
over.
for your girls, then you need to do the work now to change the trajectory of the environment, because it is not good as of right now for women. I
and
love my daughters love video games. I'm so excited for them to be gamers. I'm terrified of the moment they get into an online game. Like
and
right
that
now I've got them on story games, but what happens when she wants to play Fortnite for the first time? Having to have that conversation where her eyes are open to the way she's going to be treated for the first time is just something that keeps me up at night as a mom, to have to explain to her it's not your fault. There's no reason that you should be treated like this, but you're going to have to just bear it and deal with it, and that's bullshit, and I'm sorry.
It is.
And that's all I can do, 'cause I can't
that's
change
why
it by
in every
myself.
game that's why in every game that I play, whoever I play with, if I come across somebody who's getting literally, and I call it verbal assault, because that is exactly what it is, I I immediately try to support them the best that I can. I immediately try to be there. I immediately speak out against the people who are verbally assaulting people, because they think that everything is just like okay because it's an online game, and it's not. Like, this stuff is actually now, and this is what I'm very excited in regards to one thing that Raven Software did. They're finally recording audio. They're finally recognizing verbal assault, and they're gonna I don't want to say that. I'm hoping that they do something about that at this point, because they're
I think
finally
that's what
recording audio.
People don't realize that, like, there's real people behind these usernames.
Yes.
We're not just bots. We're not robots. We have lives the same way. And I think that people with the internet, you get so used to being behind a screen, you don't see the effect that your words have on someone, but you're saying things online that you would never say ever in real life, ever, like in a million years. And I know that for a fact. Half the
You
shit
wouldn't
that
say
I
it to me in a
hear.
grocery store.
No, you wouldn't say it to anyone. And you wouldn't want to be heard saying half the shit you say. So why do you say it online? And that's what I always like to challenge people is like, what makes it okay to say it online if you would never say this kind of shit in public?
Boom.
And it's like, most of you have a sister, most of you have a daughter or a girlfriend, and you all have a fucking mother. Would you want someone talking to your mom like that? No, you would fucking murder the dude who's telling your mother to go. I'm not gonna repeat, we all know what they say. If someone was talking to your mom like that, you'd be livid. At least I'd hope so. So like, why do you think it's okay? And that's I think is the number one thing is to challenge people. It's almost like, yes, and the kind of going off, it's like, don't kill toxicity in the sense of like, there's game banter and that's that. But it is speaking up when there's a clear boundary being crossed.
Banter
And
is
that's the
not
difference.
bigotry. There is
Yep.
like, you can insult people for lots of different things without going over to the hate speech
Oh, yeah.
line.
Come on, Tiff,
Big-
you wouldn't survive the OG MW2 days. What are you saying?
And I'm over
Ugh.
here like, excuse me, I played Call of Duty Black Ops 2 S&D.
Halo
so like,
3 lobbies back in the day.
Oh,
Holy
Halo 3
crap.
lobbies were horrible.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
because playing off of like what men can do, I almost like to challenge it further. It's like the fish rots from the head down. Like, what can companies and executives of companies do?
yes.
Because at some point, like, we know you have the power to step in. We know you have the money and the resources to step in. We know that there's women in your companies. I know for a fact Twitch, I've spoken to some of them who are actively trying to change this from the inside out of all of these mega corporations inside of gaming. We just need them to step up more. Like, they really
Yep.
don't they don't step up enough. Activision Blizzard, I don't play your game anymore, so I can say this, but like, Activision Blizzard actively pushes down women's opportunities in their game because they do not want to piss off their target audience. And it's like, you know, this happens, start banning them, please. Start putting hard lines. Start like publicly as a company coming out and being like, this type of speech is not okay, and then list what's not okay. Like, set clear guidelines and enforce them, because at this point we're past us being able to change it. We need the people who can put rules and regulations and consequences into place doing something.
Imagine if some of these big companies got behind it and actually gave women a platform.
It'd be
It
amazing.
could
like,
change so much.
And I do think like some of the games do a good job of like upbuilding the women who play their games, but at the same time, like, if you are like, yeah, you guys can have a platform, but all the abuse you're gonna receive for having a platform or a game, we're not gonna do anything about that. And it's like, you have a what is the word? Like, you have a responsibility for what goes on, and we all know that you can do something and you're choosing not to. And at this point, it gets really old and exhausting to be building things within these games to support women specifically and marginalized genders, and then have the actual game titles and the game companies be like, we'll give you a crumb, but we're not going to give you the like loaf of bread. Like, we'll help a little bit, but we're gonna do the bare necessity to appear like we're doing it, and then we're gonna not actually do anything that'll make any actual real differences. And it makes me really mad because these are the people who can give consequences. I guarantee you hate speech is gonna drop if people can't play the $80 game they paid for anymore because they're being an asshole. Like,
Right.
And that's why I was hoping
other
Raven can do
work.
something about it, because they are
Yeah.
recording. AI catches these things. They can ban people. They should be banning people for this. Like, they said
Some
they
of
were
the
going to
things
ban
people
people
are
for
saying
it.
can get a freaking. It's
can
illegal.
get
Some of the
yeah.
things they're
They
saying
could go to
actually
jail.
illegal.
They could honestly go to jail.
Yeah.
People think it's because of the internet that it doesn't hold anything. It's like, nah, you could literally take
Laws
this to
are
the
changing a little
police.
slowly, but they're changing. I can't wait for the day where people are held responsible for making deep fakes, for
Agreed.
doing death threats, for swatting people. And that's what we need,
Yes.
everybody from the head of the fish to start doing. Lay out consequences. Lay out the consequences. Nobody's going to change unless their actions have a consequence. That's what I teach my toddlers. Like,
I agree
if the
with that,
game, if,
especially like the consequence part, and that's really kind of why I started Rights to Unmute too. Because like I mean, with my content, I post everybody's usernames and I post everything they say. And with Rights to Unmute, like I encourage people like please send me clips so I can post them out there. And maybe one day their employers will hear their voice and be like, "Yo, was this you? You're fired." You know,
Mhm.
it's just like
Hell yeah.
one time there was a guy, he thought I was a little kid or a little girl, and he made it
I
very
remember
clear
this.
he wanted to do yeah, wanted to do stuff with me.
No.
And he was a pedophile. Like he was making it very very clear. And I actually posted it on Twitter and it went viral, and within that next day he got permanently banned on COD. Like they actually took
yes,
action. Yeah.
I love
And
that.
and so it's just like, but the fact, if we could do that more,
Mhm.
and it doesn't happen
And publicly.
unless like it doesn't happen unless a big content creator is putting it out
Mhm.
there. Like imagine
Yep.
all the people that go through this daily, but
Mhm.
their clips are not getting seen by anyone. They try to put it out there, they try to send, they're like, Steph, hey, like is there a chance you can do something? I'm like, I'll try, but like I'm still not big enough.
They need a
And
better
it's so-
support system in general for
Yeah.
like all games. All games should have a way for us to be able to highlight those clips, email those clips into a support queue, highlight the name that you're seeing in the game because everyone's able to get it. And then they can take action based off of the clip and review that based off of the footage. It's there. They just need
Right
to be
now
better.
it's not working. Like they have this AI in place and people that review it. They actually have, so from being at the Call of Duty events recently, they told me that there's actually people, actual humans that review all the reports. And obviously there's so many reports, and they kind of, I bet they end up just spam like muting or combating people, because
Mhm.
I've gotten banned. And I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like why am I getting banned, you know?
Mhm.
And so obviously they're trying to do something, but I feel like their system is kind of like, eh.
I
Like
feel
it's
like
not.
even if they publicly made more statements, like it would do a
Yeah,
lot. Like if
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys
that's true.
publicly, if you guys publicly as game, like every once in a while, just like reminded people of the guidelines and like made examples out of really bad eggs, then we would see a decrease in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like being like, yo, you say stuff like this, we don't want you in our game. Simple as
Yeah,
that.
that would
Right.
do so much.
Yeah.
It would do it would
Like,
they and I don't know if they don't
Take away
realize
the
it
thing they love
will
the most.
or what, but like it would be it would make change. Just even even just tweeting from their accounts would make change. Having a little pop up.
but they're too scared to lose their main audience of
Yeah.
Yep.
incels.
Because they pay they're the ones who buy it, and it yep.
It's
It,
like a endless cycle that needs to be broken. And I do think though, no matter what, there has been a lot of really positive change too. And I know that we are heading there. It might feel slow and painful,
Mhm.
but there are so many incredible women now in this industry, and our voices are starting to get heard. No matter what people want to say, no matter what, there's so many incredible. And I know Tiff was with me too. Like even just going to the Game Her Awards, seeing how many incredible women are, and we're loud. We are fucking loud. So I do think, as shit as things are, and there may not be a lot of us, but boy are we fucking strong. And it's so amazing to see these changes. It might be small now, but like it will keep rolling into something much bigger. I know it. There's no way that the amount of women that are fighting for this, it's unstoppable. So just when do men want to realize they're fighting a losing battle, so they either need to get on the right side or fuck off.
I agree. And also, Tiff, I love your cat. Your cat's adorable.
You.
Aw.
So, in effort of time, because I know that you guys have another panel to go to, I want to ask: do you guys want to go through another question, or do you guys want to give a closing statement and us go support one of the most legendary female creators? Because the one question I have,
I did let her know that will be like 5-10 minutes. If you have a question that you really want to ask, we can cover it quickly.
who in the actually, you know what? No, I can always ask this privately, but I say we do some closing statements in regards to the podcast. Is there anything you guys want to specifically talk about? And then we'll go show Baby Jess some love. So, who has some closing statements they'd like to start out with?
For closing statement from me, unmute your fucking mic. Stand up for the ladies in this space. Be confident. It's at the end of the day, like, just a simple laughing in their face or saying that's not cool or talking some smack back will make a huge difference. And this goes for anyone. Hashtag on mute, baby. I see you, Meredith. Yeah, that's for me.
I love it. And
I think
definitely follow rights to unmute.
Absolutely. I think for me, you're gonna get, for any woman who's watching this, you're gonna get judged. It's inevitable. It's just gonna be inevitable. Make sure you're confident in who you are and surround yourself with people who remind you of who you are, because those are the voices that matter, not the random voices on the internet. Those voices don't fucking matter. Who you are matters, and who you surround yourself matters. Enjoy the game. Have fun with the game. Don't let anybody ruin that for you. Don't let anyone take your passion from you. Because at the end of the day, all they want to do is stop you from being successful, and no one can take that from you, period. So just keep going.
Don't let it destroy your love for games, you know?
Exactly. And don't let it scare you from trying
yeah.
a game. Like, you hear a lot, like, I'm one of them. I always tell my community, I do not, when I play Call of Duty, I play with people I know. I don't hear the comms. I don't put my mic on. I don't do any of it. But after meeting people like Stephanie and hearing stories, it's like, maybe I'm going to start, because fuck them. Why shouldn't I?
Let's do it together.
I will, because like I am one of those women who I always say, oh, I just don't want to deal with it. But part of me is like, it's exhausting.
I know.
Lobbies. Exactly. Please.
I'll start it. I'll start it.
I'm a little baby. I'll cry.
Oh no! I'll be like, hold my hand. But like, that's the thing, is like, don't be scared. And I'll be like, no, you smell.
Go back to the kitchen. Okay, yeah, sure, all right.
I'll be like, do you want anything while I'm there?
I'm like, I'm gonna make my own sandwich.
I'm gonna spit in your sandwich. Oh no, they might like that. Oh,
they will probably like that, unfortunately.
But yeah, so I guess, Michael, in all, don't be scared. And I mean, like I said, I get why there is a lot of really shit people out there, but you can't let that stop you. So hold your own power.
Hell yeah.
And how about you, Tiff?
Mine is, it really doesn't matter the size of your platform or how big or small of a creator you are. You can really make a difference. Man, woman, gender marginalized. If you have a platform, use it in any way that you can. But if you are specifically a woman or a gender marginalized creator who's listening to this and you have experienced some of the things that we've talked about, and you want to keep doing content, it's so important to just build the community that makes you feel safe. I probably would not have stuck around as long as I did streaming if I didn't have the mods and the friends that I made from the beginning who really looked out for me and my best interest and kept me safe and protected and sane. So make sure that you really build your community and take breaks. Please take breaks, especially as a woman on the internet playing video games. If you are burnt out and exhausted and you can't deal with what you're listening to anymore, it's okay to take a break, and don't feel like everything's going to be gone. You can always come back to it. And if it's something that you really love, please get a therapist. I vouch for it. If you are a content creator, man, woman, whatever, get a therapist, please, because it will make a huge difference in your mental health. I have seen a huge difference in my mental health. I've seen it for lots of my friends who also struggle in this space. It is not normal to be in this kind of environment where you have people who love you that you don't know. And that's a very hard thing to conceptualize for a lot of people. So if you struggle with that, please talk to somebody about it, because that pressure's a lot and you deserve to be able to talk about how you feel without being scared of, coming off as ungrateful or anything like that. Just find somebody you can take care of. If you can't afford a therapist and you have really great friends, find an avenue or an outlet that you can get it out. And please, speak up for people. If something is happening to somebody else that you wouldn't like, the best thing that you can do is just give them support. Even if you're not going to stop them from being verbally assaulted online, just being somebody in a game and having somebody be like, hey, they don't deserve that, is an insane life preserver feeling of being like, wow, okay, I don't feel like I'm boxed into a corner by myself. So speak up, say something, talk to people that you trust. The internet can be scary, but it's also full of the most amazing people I've ever met in my entire life. And they're
Found my
so
best friends, found my boyfriend
Always.
through the internet, like my whole
There are
life.
so-
Yeah.
there's so many people in this industry that are fighting for change, and it's coming even if it's slow. And if you feel passionate about that, find ways that you can get plugged in. Steffi is doing an amazing job with an organization that's going to be, I hope, massive and
Oh,
really start
it
to
will
turn the
be.
tide.
I want
So-
to. Doing
so
well. So
anything like that, like if you can go and support organizations like that with right to unmute, then do it, because that little, you might feel like your voice is little, but it's not. And the
it's
more
not,
of us that
it's really not.
the volume of voices matters way more than the size of them. So just open your mouth.
And there is one thing I want to add. Other girls, women out there, please stop hating on other women. Please.
Oh my God.
Please.
Pick me, choose me,
please,
love me.
please.
You're being manipulated to
Ooh.
be against each other.
You are, and we're not in a competition. Most women,
We're really not.
we can all eat at the same table. So please, 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 please. Some women, you are literally the part of the problem, and you need to stop.
Be a girl's
Stop
girl.
hating on other women, and like, please.
There's
for
room
the
for
love of
everybody to
God.
succeed. Be a girl's
Yes.
girl. Be a girl's girl.
And
The
on
more
that
of us,
note,
we
that's a
are
good one.
a rising ship.
Mhm.
We are 100% a rising ship. Please be a girl's girl.
Don't
You'd
be
be
a dick.
surprised.
And
You'd be
yeah,
so
it's
many
so
girls
bad.
are like scared to talk to me and stuff like that. I'm like, no, like please, mommy.
Please.
I
my
love
God, I
women.
beg.
Most of us, we love women. We
You're
love
hot.
hyping each other up.
I mean, hi.
It's not a
I'm Steph.
competition.
I feel like we all struggle with that, especially being content creators, to reach out to each other, because
Right.
it's nerve-wracking, and the thought of being perceived, and there's so many different things go viral on Twitter about people's intentions. The last 3 months have been doing I have to for work now to do a lot of outreach, and it's refreshing. It's in your brain, I promise. They're not scary.
No.
Like they're not. Nobody hates you. You're not gonna mess up or say the wrong thing. Just reach out. The more community that starts to talk, the better.
100%.
And even on the reaching out aspect, like imagine how nervous I was to even reach out to you guys. Like it's okay to reach out to other people, support each other, because that's the most important thing. I'll continue to do my part as a male within the content industry to support other women and help them be as empowered as they can be. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to put this podcast together in the first place and bring some of the most loud voices, incredible voices, and empowering voices that I could possibly find on this podcast. And I do want to give a big thank you to the three of you for coming onto this podcast, and it's been absolutely amazing. And on that note, since I know you guys have another place to be, I want you
I was about to say
guys
that.
this raid, I want you guys to say Perks Band Raid #unmute as we raid into BB
Let's
Jess's
go.
Wait, type it in chat. So we can read over.
Copy.
Perks Band Raid
thank you for putting this together.
#unmute.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
of
is fun.
course. I definitely want to continue to doing more podcasts like this in the future. I really enjoy having people on and having intellectual conversations. And as much as I love playing Call of Duty, so we're gonna go show BB Sess some love.
Let's play some sometime soon again.
Absolutely. You
All
just
right.
message me. I'm always open. All right.
All right. Thank you for having us. I appreciate you.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
guys so
Everybody, let's go
much.
show BB
And
Jess some
ladies,
love.
You're awesome, Savage. I'll see you.
Yeah, see you in a second.
All right, bye.
Bye.
We're over there talking about women, as exhausting as it is for women to just talk about being women sometimes. I think today's going to be a really great day, and we still have a couple more people to introduce.